And welcome to another video in the Crime Writers Association series, Writers and Their Early Influences. My name is Bill Rogers and I'm the author of two police procedural thriller series, the Manchester Murder Mysteries and the National Crime Agency series. My story began on a cold January night on the northern edge of London's East End. Bursts of orange and red punctuated sulphurous London smog. The cry of a newborn baby echoed the wail of sirens as agents of death fell from an ink-black sky. It was a Dickensian beginning. During my 7th year, my parents, my sister and I were relocated to a sprawling council estate built to rehouse victims of the Blitz. My parents were already terminally ill, my mother with leukemia, my father with TB. Mum died the following Christmas, Dad shortly before I sat the 11+. My sister and I were alone in the world. I was sent to a boarding school in Hitchin, which now has a website devoted to the harsh regime inflicted on us pupils. Before I left home, our neighbours Phyllis and Lou Isaac gave me a boxed, polished Morocco hardback copy of Great Expectations. This was my first introduction to the rich and fascinating world of Charles Dickens, and it became a lifeline. Already in trauma, I found it impossible to concentrate during the 3-hour study sessions every evening. Instead, I made up stories in my head. At night, I read chapter after chapter of Great Expectations beneath the blankets with the aid of a torch. Each morning brought a caning for homework neglected, but I carried on until I'd finished this book and then moved on to Oliver Twist and the other 13 Dickens novels. What was it about Great Expectations that gripped me? The story unfolds through the eyes of Pip, an orphan, like me, raised by his sister, like me. It was inevitable I would empathise with Pip's sorrows, aspirations, moments of happiness, and his achievements as he struggled to overcome his feelings of loss and abandonment, and ultimately forge for himself the making of the confident, competent man he was to become. What I came to realise is that Pip's coming of age helped to arm me with the two most important weapons in my armoury at that time: self-belief and, above all, the maintenance of hope. The second element of Great Expectations that drew me in was the nature and quality of Dickens' settings that are so crucial to all of his stories. In Great Expectations, he uses them to mirror the personality of his characters, to underpin the central themes and reinforce feelings and emotions. The bleak and treacherous marsh shrouded in mist where the story begins is the perfect setting for his meeting with the sinister convict escaped from the hulks on the river. This is also the place where Pip is later kidnapped and assaulted by the evil Orlick. When Dickens takes us to the marsh, we expect bad people to appear and bad things to happen. And when he whisks Pip off to Victorian London, it is to a place of filth and noise and squalor, but also unimaginable excitement and opportunity. A perfect setting for the next phase of Pip's voyage of discovery, and it held for me so much resonance with the post-war London of my early childhood. Dickens had a fundamental impact on my development as a writer. His skillful juxtaposition of good and evil, his use of atmospheric settings to bring authenticity, mood and tone to his work, and the way in which he entwined topical events into his plots. Detective Chief Inspector Tom Caton, my protagonist in The Girl and the Shadow Man, but also in all of my Manchester murder mysteries, was orphaned at 14. Like Pip, he went to live with his aunt. Also like Pip, he had to dig deep and make his own way in the world. And he develops a fondness for his city, Manchester, my adopted city. And it's an enduring backdrop to my series in terms of atmosphere and authenticity. Caton understands Manchester's history, its energy and its pulsing heart. He confronts the evil that lurks beneath the surface of its renaissance, and he champions the victims and the dispossessed. Dickens was a master of the social novel. He seamlessly intertwined mystery, romance, crime, class, psychology and politics. In The Girl and the Shadow Man, I explore contemporary themes of young love and loss, asylum and illegal immigration, human trafficking, greed and murder, and the challenge of policing international crimes in a world of accountability and competing organisational and political priorities. Great Expectations fed my thirst for reading, fired my imagination, and was instrumental in my desire to become a writer. I can't pretend I owe it all to Dickens, but the day that I was handed Great Expectations set me on a never-ending journey of self-discovery. Thank you for watching, and whether or not your next book be one that set you on a path of lifelong readership or a new discovery, happy reading.